blustery Belmont Park on this Wednesday afternoon. Partly cloudy skies, northwest winds up to about 20 miles an hour, gusts of even as high as 30. It was a windy day. Horses were running into a pretty stiff headwind down the backside. They had it with them through the home stretch. We wound up running 9, and it was good to be back. 2 days away from the track. Feels like a very long time, and we were off and running at 1:20 p.m. Big pick 6 carryover. Richard Migliore, nearly 93,000 or over 93,000. It's the Mig, it's Jason Blewitt, and it's just good to be back to Belmont Park on an extended week.
It is, but I don't know about you. For me, I needed those 2 days, especially this is going to be a 6-day week. We run right through Memorial Day Monday, and I thought we had some good races. A little chilly up here on the set, but the show will be hot.
Indeed, as we hope the Rangers' goal sticks will be tonight down at Tampa Bay. And look, a lot of money up for grabs in today's Pick 6, and that will build, of course, to the big picture that Belmont Stakes Day and Belmont Stakes Festival, Saturday, June 6th, is what it's all about. And this is a real 3-year-old centric and heavy headline segment right here on Belmont Insider. And there's no more important horse in all of racing than American Pharoah, the Kentucky Derby and Preakness winner. And he, once his racing days are over, will be retiring to Coolmore, Ashford.
Yeah, the Zayed family came up with a deal with Ashford to have the breeding rights to American Pharoah, and nobody knows. It's an undisclosed purchase price. I read that Zayed's keeping 25% of the horse, but listening this morning to some very smarter people than me, let's put it that way, when it comes to breeding, the way the formula works, he estimated his value at $36 to $40 million for 75% of his breeding rights. He wins the Triple Crown. The sky's the limit.
And the incentives are built in. Wins the Triple Crown. There's other season goals in the mix as well regarding that contract and potential stud deal for American Pharoah. But Ahmed Zayed pretty much on the record, as long as everything's okay, plans on running the horse for the remainder of 2015 as a 3-year-old, and it'll be nice to get him up here to Belmont Park during Belmont Stakes Week. He is set American Pharoah. He's back in Kentucky now. He's set to get back into the swing of things regarding training. He'll hit the Churchill Downs main track for a light jog tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the point of bringing him back to Churchill. Maybe it's quieter there, stay out of all the hoopla that's here. But I would like to see him training on this track. It is a different surface. But you know what? He's been able to carry his form to all different surfaces. I'm not going to second-guess Bob Baffert. He knows how to win these races. I am curious, though, if Ashford's going to breed him as extensively as they do a lot of their other stallions. You'd have to think they would. Upwards of 200 mares a year in America, upwards of 200 mares a year in Australia, shuttling, where years ago the conventional wisdom was 40 mares a year to a stallion. They wanted to keep their potency up, and they thought they threw stronger foals. We're seeing this trend where horses are breeding a lot more horses, and we don't see as many durable horses. Maybe that has something to do with it?
All right, could be the case. Now, as American Pharoah does his preparation for the Belmont Stakes at Churchill Downs, Nick Zito has got Fermento, who finished 11th behind American Pharoah in the Kentucky Derby on May 2nd. He has picked up Hall of Fame rider Mike Smith. And this is a duo and a combo that goes all the way back to 1990 with 36 Red, who was second in that year's Belmont Stakes.
Yeah, and listen, you get a Hall of Famer on your side. Mike Smith knows how to get it done. You see Mike here battling in between horses on 36 Red. This horse really hasn't shown the form to me that makes him a contender, but we've seen Nick Zito win with big long shots before in this race. Obviously, Tatara and Birdstone. Although Birdstone was a very good horse, Tatara, I think, caught the right year, and he was just in the right place at the right time.
And that was 36 Red. The video we looked at between rivals, very game, winning the 2000, or I should say 1990 Wood Memorial over at the Big A, out finishing Champagne for Ashley and Burnt Hills. Were you in that race?
I don't remember being in that race, although Champagne for Ashley was actually a really good New York bred that I remember Howie Tesher trained. I think Jacinto Vasquez was aboard.
Well, speaking of very good, we've got Muptahij, multiple stakes winner, group winner from overseas. He is based here at Belmont Park, arrived here a few days ago, had to work on the inner turf this past Sunday, and was right back at it over Big Sandy this morning.
Yeah, you can see the differences in training regimens from the United States to abroad. Obviously, working in basically within 3 days of each other, once on the turf, now on the dirt. It's interesting. It shows you there's more than one way to skin a cat. And I mean, obviously, Michael de Kock has had so much success anywhere he goes. Again, a guy I'm not going to question or second guess. It's just interesting to watch his approach.
And he's got plenty of time to settle in and get used to Big Sandy and the hoopla that will be Belmont Stakes number 147. He's with one of Michael de Kock's lads, if you will. That is Trevor Brown, and the MiG went over to the backside and caught up with him earlier today.
Trevor, Muftahij, did he ship in well to Belmont Park?
Yes, he did. We were lucky enough to have a very laid-back, good traveling horse, you know.
It seemed like he had to work on the grass on Sunday. What was the thought process going into working on the grass, even though he's going to run on the dirt here?
Listen, you know, Mark, we do it often, no matter where we're in the world, whether it's Dubai, South Africa. You know, if we're running on all-weather dirt, we like to put a bit of turf work into it. You know, we find it's just we can work them harder and save the legs a little bit more on the turf as to the dirt. We'll still work them on the dirt, but not as hard as what we would on the turf.
Well, he did come back and have another work this morning on the main track, kind of a sharper drill, I should say. Were you happy with the way you got over the ground?
Yes, very. Nothing against Churchill's ground, but I do find he's moving better on this sand, dirt, what you call it, yeah. I don't know if it's more forgiving or just, I don't know what it is, but I do find him moving better on this track, yes.
And the mile and a half, really, with his pedigree, shouldn't be a problem, should it?
No, it shouldn't. Let's hope it doesn't, and I think that would be in our favour against most of them, you know.
Well, best of luck, and really happy to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Muftahij, the UAE Derby winner. Might there be a Belmont Stakes and Triple Crown upsetter in the form of Michael de Kock and this horse who's been all over the globe? And you noted the success Muftahij had running overseas. I mean, he really did some nice things.
Yeah, he really did, and the distance should not be a problem. I mean, he's by Dubawi, who just horses seem to run forever. And I like the approach of getting here early. I just think it's important to get used to the surroundings and used to the surface.
Christophe Soumillon might be the favorite to ride him back in the Belmont Stakes. Rode him in the UAE Derby, was very pumped up crossing the finish line, and it's fun watching the B-roll and the tape. Rode him in the Kentucky Derby. Do you, maybe you're a bit biased and maybe you can't be impartial, but do you grab Soumillon, who knows the horse, or do you grab an American-based rider for this race at a mile and a half?
Yeah, you know, I think Christophe Soumillon is a world-class rider. He's somebody that's very familiar with the horse, has a lot of confidence in him, and he also has the confidence of the trainer. Mike de Kock really believes in him. They're friends to boot, and they understand each other, and I think that communication and knowing the horse would far trump getting a local rider.
All right, let's send it up. Larry Comas was back, as was Maggie Wolfendale. Preakness 2015, a thing of the past, in the chart books forever. Chilly day here at Belmont Park, but an afternoon not to be missed in the sun in the backyard. Now let's get it up to Larry Comas as we get on to race number 6 on the internet.
They're off. And it's XXX who goes on to the early lead. Apollo 11 on the inside, away running in second, and steadying there right behind horses is Convert. Convert's in early traffic as XXX leads the way. Lots of heat into second. Apollo 11 is third, plundering on the outside. Very hard held, running in fourth onto the back stretch. Between those two is Act Feisty, who's taken in hand. And then comes O'Baird to the outside, followed by Convert, who is having trouble settling down. Third last early ahead of Without Fear and Memory of Peter. The first quarter goes in 25 and 3/5 seconds up the backstretch, and it's XXX the leader. A length and a half to Lots of Heat in second. Apollo 11 is third. Plundering is fourth on the outside, 3 lengths off the lead, and then Act Feisty, followed by O'Bear. Convert racing at the rail with 7 lengths to make up at this stage. Without Fear and Memories of Peter, last of them all, and racing 10 lengths off the lead after a 51 and 1/2 mile. And it's XXX and Luis Saez leading the field around the far turn by 2 lengths. With Lots of Heat running in second. Plundering goes up on the outside. Apollo 11 is after that by 3. And then it's Act Feisty. Memories of Peter running in behind horses still in hand here. 6 lengths off the lead, and Memories of Peter's going to swing to the outside, but a lot of work to do. They're into the stretch. XXX the leader by 2. And then it's Lots of Heat, Apollo 11. And it's 4 lengths back to Memories of Peter, who's finishing on well on the far outside, but too far behind the leaders. It is XXX. And XXX is going to go all the way over Apollo 11. And then it was Lots of Heat, and Memories of Peter was 4th.
Luis Saez gets credit here. He sent XXX to the lead, was able to slow it down on the front end, and here's your upset. And I got to think XXX divorced quite a few pick six players from their tickets.
Very sharp. I like it. You're on your game. But XXX, certainly when you get to go a half in 51 and gallop alone on the lead like that, he does have some turf pedigree. How are you going to get caught? If your horse has any run in him at all, this is the way you're supposed to ride him. And certainly Gary Contessa had this horse ready, and Luis Saez basically stole race 6 at Belmont Park.
Colt, I read the footnotes. Out of an honor grades mare, I noticed that going in. I just didn't think he'd be good enough, even if he had a tactical advantage. For me, though, it's a good lesson going forward, and maybe for the riders as well. And we see Luis Saez. We gave him a 10 for the landing there as he gets back to the winner's circle, and he'll be grabbed by one of Gary's assistants. But riders have got to be a bit more aggressive, especially on this inner turf course that favors horses that have tactical speed.
Inner turf, always positioned, so important. He was drawn, not towards the inside, but he made use of his speed to get to the inside. And I think that picture we showed of Luis Saez springing back up on the horse without the aid of a leg up shows his athleticism. He's quite an athlete.
And we'll have Luis Saez along with a few other top riders in this Belmont colony on this Wednesday edition of Belmont Insider. We're a little chilly. We hope you're warm wherever you are, and we've got a lot more coming your way as we go for the green on the green this Wednesday. Be part of history here at beautiful Belmont Park. Belmont Stakes number 147. There are limited grandstand admission tickets available. BelmontStakes.com, Ticketmaster.com. Do not wait. They will sell out. We're capping the attendance for logistics at 90,000. Do not wait. Get on it. And here is the rundown, the potential rundown of that Grade 1, $1.5 million Belmont Stakes. Your Kentucky Derby, Preakness winner American Pharoah, number 1 for Bob Baffert and Victor Espinoza, and as many as 10 trying to stand in his way.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Years past, horse going for the Triple Crown, facing 5 horses, 6 horses, years back 3 or 4 horses. Well, we're still going to get a full field lined up against American Pharoah, and I was hearing some talk about War Story wanting to go to the lead. A horse that really doesn't possess a lot of natural speed, but his owner seems to make big statements, and maybe he's the fly in the ointment, not to win, but maybe change the complexion of the race.
Well, we'll see what happens if War Story does indeed run. If he does, a rare Belmont Park starter for trader Tom Amos. But we'll talk about the Test of the Champion as we get closer, and we are very close to Larry Comas, who will take us through the opening leg of the late double. Most eyes after a poor break on the 9, Barrel of Love.
2.5 to the favorite Barrel of Love, who is down toward the inside and now angles off the rail to race 4 lengths off the lead. Mark My Ways and some early traffic trouble there. And then it's Lawyer Jim, and the trailer is El Hua. So now the field moves up the backstretch where Good to Look leads the way by a length. And Blue Pigeon is in second. Break of another 2 to Mark My Way, who's third to the inside of Majestic Raffi. And Barrel of Love is 5th up the backstretch after a 24 and 3 opening quarter mile. Break of another 2 back to Lawyer Jim. And El Hua runs at the back of the field as they continue their run up the backstretch. Good to Look and Luis Saez in front here. They lead it by 2 over Blue Pigeon as they race toward the far turn. And then comes Mark My Way, Majestic Raffi, and right behind them is Barrel of Love, who continues to race along in 5th, 6 lengths off the lead. And then it's Lawyer Jim and El Hua. They went 48 and 2 for a half mile, and they're rounding the far turn. And Good to Look continues to lead the way. It's a length advantage to Blue Pigeon, who's trying to mount a rally now, but is coming under a ride in second. Then comes Majestic Raffi, Mark My Way, and right behind them is Barrel of Love, who's still 5th and coming wide at the top of the stretch, and it's Good to Look. Good to Look off the turn in front, and now Javier Castellano and Barrel of Love are rolling up on the far outside. And here's Barrel of Love storming to the front, and they are going to pull away from here. Barrel of Love lengthening stride down to the wire to win it by 4 in the end over Majestic Raffi. Good to Look was 3rd, and
Very tough gelding. 8-year-old son of Read the Footnotes. Second turf winner today for Read the Footnotes in the form of Barrel for Love. Actually, check that. He's by Not for Love, but he's by a good stallion, and even though I don't know his pedigree, I know he's a pretty good racehorse, and he was terrific today.
He was terrific. Javier Castellano angled him out to the clear, and he just jetted home. There was no doubt about it once he had a path to run. And I can forgive you for mixing up Read the Footnotes and Not for Love. Not for Love, one of those prolific Maryland stallions. Read the Footnotes with New York Red Sox. It's easy to confuse. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Top connections as we see assistant trainer Cherie DeVoe for Chad Brown. Chad wound up winning 2 on today's card. We'll get you up to speed regarding the Belmont Park trainer standings in a few moments, but that barn has 14. Javier Castellano, his only win today aboard Barrel of Love. And let's cash out the pick 6. Everybody was covered, 59,000 all the way up to 400K as we see what shook out on the inner turf. And we end the day with a group of New York-bred 3-0 Filly and Mare maidens.
Hope's Roar, and on the outside of them comes Is That All There Is? Then Esky along the rail, followed by Kitty Cat and Celtic Sunrise, trails the field 8 lengths off the lead as Out of Cypress Hills takes them up the backstretch in front through a 24 and 2 opening quarter mile. Fredak is running in second. Hope's Roar third to the outside, and then comes Esky along the rail. Is That All There Is side by side with Kitty Cat, 4 lengths off the lead, and Celtic Sunrise with 6 to make up at the back of the field. It's Out of Cypress Hills on top as they continue their run up the backstretch. The lead is a length and a half. And then it's Fredak, Esky, and Hope's Roar. They went 49 and 1 for a half mile. Kitty Cat is next. Is That All There Is? Celtic Sunrise still last and still with 6 lengths to make up as Out of Cypress Hills continues to lead the way. Fredak is up running in second. Hope's Roar third to the outside of them. Break of 2 to Is That All There Is? Celtic Sunrise is taken to the far outside for a run. Kitty Cat and Esky along the rail, and they're coming to the top of the stretch. And as they turn for home, Out of Cypress Hills is the leader. Fredak is second. Celtic Sunrise, who went very wide, is moving quickly on the outside. Now into second with Out of Cypress Hills to catch. Out of Cypress Hills, here comes Celtic Sunrise on the outside. And Celtic Sunrise and Joel Rosario strike the front. Celtic Sunrise to win. Over Out of...
Talk about a confident ride. First was Javier aboard Barrel of Love, and Joel must know this got to be a pretty good feeling for a jock coming down the lane, and you're just sitting on a ton, rolling.
Didn't break particularly well, got involved, tipped out wide, even wider than maybe necessarily had to be, and just knew that he was going to get there. And this is when Joel Rosario's at his best, when he's got 2 fistfuls of horse underneath him, and he's going to use them just enough to deliver at the wire.
A couple of masters comprised the late double, at least in the trainers category. We had Chad Brown in race number 8 with Barrel of Love, and our 6th winning favorite on the card was Celtic Sunrise for Christophe Kaman, who got his picture taken with that filly by Freud. 59,000 plus the pick 6 payout. Not a bad day at the office. Of course, I can't get 1 or 2 winners on 1 ticket.
Well, it's nice to have carryovers and get those big payoffs. And other than a couple of horses, it was pretty logical, wasn't it?
Very logical. 6 winning favorites, 4 of them actually, or there were 3 winning favorites, I should say, in the pick 6. And favorites won the first 3 races on today's card, not in the sequence. Regardless, we've got Joel gearing up with Frosted for the Belmont Stakes, and we gear up for a trip back upstairs to the announcer's booth. Here is Larry Colmus off the quarter pole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7.
As they come into the stretch, and Thundering Gale's going to split horses now, coming between Can't Use Nelly and Lemon Song, and here comes Thundering Gale, and Thundering Gale takes off. Thundering Gale and Jose Ortiz are going to run away from here. Thundering Gale under the wire, a 4-length winner. Can't Use Nelly was second, Little Ariel was third. Top, and between those 2, it's Thomas Knight. These 3 turn for home together, and it is Summit Moon who is circled up on the far outside after 3 quarters in 1:12 and 3, and Summit Moon has taken the lead. Summit Moon trying to put away Lightning Run. They've left Thomas Knight back in third, and the others are well behind as they come down to the line. It is Summit Moon and Lightning Run, and Summit Moon is the winner. Lightning Rod was second. Thomas Knight was third. And Rapenful was fourth. Cozy turning for home with a 5-length lead at the top of the stretch. And Sharp and Witty is running in second. And the others have been left behind. On the outside, Belafonte is third. But as they come into the final furlong, Angel Cruz just sitting like a statue here on Rockin' Cozy. Rockin' Cozy is going to be an easy winner here under the line by about 7 measured lengths over Belafonte and then Sharp and Witty. And first, Whippoorwill will turn for home on the lead. On the outside, Simple Love draws up alongside, goes right on by. Simple Love under a hand ride from Jose Lezcano takes the lead and quickly pulls away by 3. First, Whippoorwill and Ave's Halo are next. Then comes Ladies Lunar Luck on the outside. It is all Simple Love. Simple Love all by herself under the wire. Then it was Ave's Halo, first Whippoorwill, as Matching Skies turns for home in front. Matching Skies the leader, 3/4 and 1, 13 and 4. They're into the stretch, and Star of the Forest draws even now, goes on by. Star of the Forest has taken the lead. Ginny's Gray comes after her. Bounty Pink now swings up on the outside. And then it's Lots of Noodles, and Matching Skies has dropped back to 5th. It's Ginny's Gray and Bounty Pink in the center of the track goes on to win under Taylor Rice. It was Ginny's Gray second, then Star of the Wide, and they're into the stretch, and Gentrifies in front, but Best Man, who's been under a drive, is getting closer on the outside. These two into the final furlong together, and in spite of it all, who is dead last, is making a move on the far outside. It is now Best Man in front. In spite of it all, an identity crisis comes on between those two. Gentrifies giving way, and Eric the Red's getting going late. They're coming down to the line, and it's In Spite of It All, and Eric the Red. The two.
Wow, that was a crazy finish in the 7th. Essentially a 5-horse photo. Second one on the afternoon for the the prolific stallion in Speightstown, who was also the sire of the Linda Rice filly, who won race number 5. And we can get on the rider standings with the leading rider at the meet beginning what will be a 7-day suspension.
Yeah, I read Ortiz. He'll be back up, I believe, at the 24th or the 25th. He'll be back, and he still holds the lead. It's not that much time. Angel Cruz is hot, but he's going to have to work to catch him, and a lot of good riders in behind him.
And Angel Cruz, first day as a journeyman, lost his bug
Wow, okay,
allowance.
good
Right,
call.
Sunday.
I didn't even pick it up.
No, Sunday was his last day as a bug rider, and won a race. In fact, it was Rockin' Cozy who was claimed, and we'll check out who claimed her and where she's going in just a second. But Angel Cruz, his first ever win as a journeyman. Good job. Chad Brown walked away with the training double, 14. David Jacobson sent out Rockin' Cozy, and we can break out the owner standings with 3 full weeks down, and Michael Dubb in his familiar spot with everybody else behind him.
Yeah, it seems who comes to Belmont Park in Saratoga, Michael Dubb is going to make some noise.
Claims. Couple of reclaims out of the first couple races today, including Nightfall Chatterpaul jumping back in and claiming Thomas Knight. Carl Domino, however, reclaiming Rockin' Cozy. And how about that 8-year-old by Not For Love and Barrel Love, who is well worth the $40,000 in my opinion.
He looked every penny of the $40,000 and then some. Barrel of Love looks like he's got a lot of good running still left in him.
It's a Thursday preview. We thought maybe, just maybe, there'd be a triple carryover. It was not meant to be, and we'll be back with that preview. Turf Heavy show, a green show, as we have the trees here in the paddock, and the one and only, the mighty Secretariat beneath, standing guard in the paddock. That's where we began. That is where we end as this third segment gets off and running, and we kick it to Secret Fortune down on the Gulfstream. We'll call it somewhere between green and brown on the turf, but this horse was giant last time out.
Yeah, he was giant. He set fast fractions. He continued on. He ran through the wire. I love his pedigree. Obviously, he likes the turf, although I think he's all right in the dirt, too. He just didn't want a 1 1/8. A little different, though. 5 furlongs to 7 furlongs on the turf, and he's going to have to show the ability to get the 7/8, but he's working well up at Finger Lakes, interestingly enough.
And he's trained by Jeremiah Engelhardt. He'll look to stay unbeaten on the turf. Let's move on to Manhattan Mischief, who was 1 for 2 and run very well in his 2 starts to date for Steve Caceres.
Yeah, he really has, and I mean, a horse that hasn't run on the turf. He does have some turf pedigree in there, though, so Steve obviously sees something that tells him he likes him on the turf. He's got a good post inside, and he's got the right style because I think there's enough speed in here to set it up for a late run, and Manhattan Mischief will be looking to be successful in his turf debut.
And then we go to Brian Lynch, who you talk about the pace. Well, this guy's second off the layoff, and there's not much early speed in the department of man of many virtues. The faster they go, the better off he'll be.
Yeah, because he's going to come with one run, and he has one going 7 furlongs, albeit up in Canada, so he likes the distance. He's going to have to run a little faster, though. I'm not really getting a feeling of him like brilliance, and I think there's some brilliance in here, including Secret Fortune, who has the capability of running very fast. The question being the distance.
First-time turfer on the outside for Keir McLaughlin, who pulled the move last week successfully with Seagate, a horse by the name of Ticket Holder by Elusive Quality, who I think is sitting on a big race.
Yeah, and you know what? I think even like the dirt, you want to save ground on the turf, but 7/8, you got a long run of the turn, you get in the race the right way.
And we continue to race on, nearly out of time, but we've got to catch up with Andy and Maggie with who to look for tomorrow.
Thanks a lot, guys. Well, save a little money for the 9th race on Thursday. I'm going to try to get us out. Hopefully you won't have to get out. Maybe you can make more money. I'm looking to beat the 3 Hush Hush Mush Mush. Somebody always beats Hush Hush Mush Mush. And I'm hoping it's Starigo, number 6. Starigo ran well 2 races back off the layoff. Went in finally in a pretty competitive spot. Maybe even a little tougher spot than this, to be fair. Last time out, got involved in a crazy speed duel. I'm not sure why. Now gets a rider change to Jose Lescano, likely sits off of the speed of Andrews Got Zip, and I think Starigo is going to do much better at the 7 furlongs of this distance. Throw in the 12, Jim 2, as a long shot as well if you're playing some exotics. That's it for me in the 9th race as we head down to Maggie.
Thanks, Andy. Boy, it's a blustery one here in the paddock for your insider. But looking at the Thursday card, going to take a bit of a shot, and it comes in race number 6. It's a starter allowance sprinting on the turf, 6 furlongs to be exact. And number 2 in there is Cosmos Storm. If you look back at his only turf race of his career, it was a maiden special weight as a 2-year-old, and there were some pretty tough and heavy hitters in that race, including a Chad Brown duo. So I'm willing to forgive him, and obviously he made the early running of that race. He doesn't want any part of going long, as we saw in his last effort on the dirt. He cuts back to sprinting. He's a son of Cosmonaut. He has that turf look. I think he might be able to upset this field, although it is a tough spot, but we'll look forward to him sprinting on the grass here at beautiful Belmont Park for your Paddock Insider. Jay, Meg, back to you.
All about the turf with those two, our dynamic duo, and we'll see how their picks do tomorrow afternoon. And there'll be plenty of grass this coming Monday, Memorial Day. That's right, we kicked off a 6-day live racing week today. As we do have that live card, it is round number 1 regarding the Big Apple Showcase Day. Plenty of information available at NYRA.com, and we do it all again tomorrow right here on MSG Plus. Let's go Rangers. Have a great night.